हाँ अब ठीक, अब शुरू करें.
So from the verse 16, Sat and Asat. Sat has no non-being and Asat has no being. It was shown. And then it was shown that goes on to say that Sat is indestructible, Avinashi. One should know, Tad Vidhi. See, again, I'm trying to make you see the words used by Bhagavan. You should know, Tad Vidhi. Vidhi means you should know. What? That Tat Sat is Avinashi, and that is pervading everything. Then it was shown that by Kathopanishad, in one verse, everything was shown that Atma is Avikriya. Shad Vikaras were taken care of. And neither it is the object, neither it is a agency of any action, nor it is any object of any action. So, Nayam Hanti Nahanyate. In these one line, everything was said. And then he shows how न जायते न म्रियते वा कदाचित नायम भूत्वा अभविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्य शाश्वतोयम पुराण न हन्यते अन्यमाने शरीरे अन्यमाने शरीरे न हन्यते. It is not destroyed. So therefore it looks like as if Bhagavan is repeating himself in the Gita, but it is not so. Everything is said in again and again because this knowledge Bhagavan Shankaracharya writes in one of the commentaries that again and again it is very difficult to be understood. So durbodh hai. He writes the word durbodha atma. Therefore, in ways and means, every word and every concept is explained again and again by various means. So it is not repetition, because something or the other has been explained so that for easy comprehension. Next word comes here, Veda Vinashinam. Ya enam atmanam avinashinam nityam ajam avyayam Veda. Again you see the word Veda is there. You should know. And today's verse, last verse, Tasmat evam viditvainam nanu shochitum harasi. So in the manner which the Atma has been revealed by the previous verses, evam in this manner, tasmat, and therefore, it's a very powerful therefore. In the verse, the last verse of 25th verse, evam viditva, having known in this manner, thus unfolded by the Bhagavad Gita, by me. Tasmat, Bhagavan Krishna is saying, Tasmat evam viditva, enam atmanam viditva, na anushochitum arhasi. There is no reason to grieve. There is nothing left, because what is to be grieved upon when every Sat, there is no bhava, no abhava of Sat, and there is no bhava of Asat. So Asat ka to jo changing hai, wo to, that which is changing, and that which is changeless, and that is pervading. And what is that which is changeless is cannot be destroyed. This is the topic today. Indestructible. How it is indestructible? Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. Na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. So that it is not an object of anything. So this 5 elemental model is there: space, air, fire, water, earth. Right? Space, air, fire, water, earth. So here, all the 4 elements. Shastra is the Prithvi, Pavaka is the fire, Apa is the water, Maruta is the wind. They are showing all the 5 elements cannot destroy Atma. Means it is not an object of action. It was already said Na hanyate hanyamane sharire nayam hanti na hanyate. But now with the five elemental model, it is being shown. You know, and that it is not destroyed. But Swamiji goes on to explain this in a very beautiful manner. That which cannot be negated, which cannot be destroyed means which cannot be negated. What cannot be negated? Who cannot be negated, really speaking? The negator cannot be negated. है ना? Bhagwan, Swamiji says, and that satyam ka definition is what? Abaditam, abaditam satyam. Badha abaditam. जिसका बाध ना किया जा सके. That which cannot be negated. What cannot be negated? The very consciousness, the person who is the negator, cannot be negated. You know, and that which is negated is not Satya. So you find out what is in the world which cannot be negated. The whole world is negatable. You can negate the whole world. And therefore the whole world comes into the category of Asat. It has no being. What has being is only this conscious principle, which is you. Atma means which is you. Atma does not mean something. Atma is I, the conscious principle. And that is what is talked about here. It is abaditam, which is not negatable, which cannot be destroyed. That which cannot be destroyed is that which cannot be negated. That is also one of the meaning. That is why Swamiji is bringing this in terms of negation. In terms of destruction, it has been talked of. And what? So can you destroy something? Can you destroy yourself? I cannot be destroyed. You know, we say birthday. Some people, we always celebrate birthday because we say, okay, this body, mind, sense complex has come into manifestation. But really speaking, at one point of time, you start thinking, whose birthday? Am I this body, mind, sense complex? Or which is this I? You know, we have discussed this all in previous classes. Which I? So if you are talking of the birth of the body, which really you are not actually. I does not get born. I is always there. I is Nityam. Atma is Nityam. That is what we are studying. Yaenam Nityam Avyam Ajam Avinashi Nam Veda. Veda Vinashinam Nityam Yaenam Ajam Avyayam Veda Vinashinam Avinashinam Nityam Ajam Avyayam Veda. Yaha Katam Sapurusha Partha Kam Ghatayati Hantikam. So this verse is so powerful after the two Kathopanishad verses that there is no destruction at all. And therefore, this what is this Atma, the one which cannot be negated, which cannot be destroyed. This is what is shown in this verse here. Nayam Hanti Nahanyate already said. So Shankaracharya ji writes, I will try to see those verses also. From the standpoint of Bhashya also, we'll see. So later on he says, not in this verse, he says that. So, Shastra na enam atmanam shastrani na chinnanti. The weapons do not slay. Pavakah enam na dahati. Fire does not burn. Apaha enam na kledayanti. Waters do not wet or drown. Marutaha na shoshayati. The wind does not dry. Swamiji writes, which wind does not dry? He says, Marutaha, here it means drying the वो जो garam hawa,
Hot air, huh?
hot air. He writes that, you know. So this is the verse. Anybody wants to add something or what some points you have read? Swamiji explains a lot of things into this. Once you read this paras of the Bhagavad Gita home study, you can bring out so many points. Because since you have read all that, I am just trying to summarize.
Yeah, Swamiji. Swamiji writes that Atma is the subject, is not object, and subject only objectifies everything. So object cannot destroy the subject. That is one part. That's why Atma cannot be destroyed. And secondly, Agni, water, fire, and Shastra, earth, they belong to different realities. And Atma belongs to a different reality. They are different realities altogether. So only the similar realities can affect each other, not different realities.
But the order of reality is different.
The order of reality is different. So since Atma has a different so the Atma has a different order of reality. So the lower order of reality cannot affect Atma. That's why nothing can touch Atma. It cannot be slayed, or not can be cut, not can be destroyed. And interestingly, it doesn't talk to the space. There are 4 elements which are talked in relation to destruction of Atma, but space is not talked about. And Swamiji writes because Atma has no space, while Atma pervades all the space. So the 4 elements are talked about, and the 5th element is not talked about. And space can, and other 4 elements can destroy each other, but they cannot affect space at all. And Atma has no space in Atma.
Why it cannot? Because space is sukshma, ati sukshma. So you know, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, tasmad va etasmad atmana akashas sambhutah akashad vayuh vayoragnihi agnerapah adya prithvi prithivya moshadayah oshadibhyunnam annat purushah. So this is the creation. So from tasmad va etasmad atmanah, tasmad brahmanah, etasmad atmanah. That Brahman, which is this Atma, tasmad va etasmad atmanah, akasha sambhuta. The first what is coming into being is space, subtle space. Then akashad vayu, vayu ragni, agnerapa, adya prithvi, prithivya moshadaya. So therefore it is the subtlest of all. And therefore, what to talk of Atma, even these 4 elements cannot destroy space. But space, how so you can say space is equal to Atma? No. Even though space is all pervading, but in consciousness, there is no space. Space is consciousness, but consciousness is not even space. Because consciousness is even subtler than space. You know? How will you point it out? What example you will give to point this fact out? Sleep. Sleep state you can give. When you are sleeping, consciousness is there, space is not there. Time is not there, space is not there. It's the simplest of examples to show that space is not there. Consciousness is there. So space is there, world is there. Everything, world is in space only, na? Space and time. Temporal and spatial is the world. But consciousness, so Swamiji writes there, Your physical body comprises of 5 gross elements. Here it is. So it's so beautifully brought out that I think I wanted to bring out that point, what Swamiji writes in Bhagavad Gita Home Study. So anyway, we will find out and later on I can show you that. So consciousness is space, but space is in consciousness. You are conscious of space. No? But there is no space in consciousness. Like in deep sleep. Consciousness is there, but space is not there. Right? But space cannot be without the consciousness. Somebody has to be there, no? The world is. Yeah. Yeah. Continue.
There's another point that Swamiji says that anything which has parts can be divided. The partless cannot be divided. Atma has no attributes and it has no limbs and nothing that you can hack or you can destroy. So it's without any attribute and it's without any extension or a limb. It has no other. There's no
Nirgunatvat. I read in last class, if you remember. Niravayavatvat, nirganatvat. So because of these two things, it cannot be destroyed, indestructible. It is pure consciousness.
I think it cannot be destroyed just is because A is not object and B it belongs to the different is a level of reality and C it has no parts and it has no attributes. So anything that is without an attribute cannot be destroyed.
Attributes are gunas, parts are avayavas.
Right.
Niravayav is parts, avayava. And attribute is guna.
Yes, sir.
Nirgunatvat. So these two words, attribute means what in Sanskrit? Gunas. Yeah.
Guna. Right. Sir.
Then go ahead, Rajiv, you were explaining.
That's all. These three are the reasons that's what I understood, that Atma cannot be destroyed. No element can affect it.
Shobha is there, na? Shobha Jaishankar. Shobha. Hello. Okay. She messaged something, whether she.
Yes, Swamiji, I am there.
Then what? So I asked you, would you want to say something on this? Or is it okay?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
There is just one more point which Swamiji brings out in the end of this verse, Swamiji, which is very interesting, where he says that non-existent things also cannot be destroyed. For example, he brings out the example of the son of a barren woman. Now, barren woman cannot have a son, so that does not exist. So that cannot be destroyed. But then in the next verse, Swamiji explains that even for a non-existent thing, you need to have a anupalabdhi pramana. So that anupalabdhi pramana will only be it cannot be present for Atma. It only for the non-existent things, and therefore even those become objects. Unlike
so this is the connection to the next verse. I was just going to speak this verse.
Okay.
This is the connection
Yeah.
to the next verse. Atma alone is self-evident. You can say when it cannot be destroyed, therefore it does not exist, like Vandya Putra.
Yes.
Because the son of a barren woman, does not exist, so you cannot destroy it. So Atma is also like Shunya.
Yes. And I think even
So for that reason, next verse comes in, Achedyoyam, Adhayoyam, Akledyo Shosha Evacha, Ayam. This. So something which is existent is spoken of. Ayam Achedyaha, Ayam Adahyaha, Ayam Akledyaha, Ayam Ashoshaha. Ayam means what? Which is self-evident, self-existent. Ayam, this Atma. You don't require any means of knowledge to prove your existence. I am is first, then only you use all the other pramanas. Swata Siddha means what? Self-evident. It does not require any proof or evidence. Does not require any other pramana, not even Veda. Not even scriptures it requires to say that I am. I am is self-existent. Therefore, it says, I am achedyaha. It cannot be slain. I am adahyaha. It cannot be burned. I am akledyaha. It cannot be drowned. I am ashoshaha. It cannot be dried. And this is nityaha, changeless. We have already seen nityaha. Because it is nityaha, timelessness is said about nityaha. It is ever present. It is sarvagataha. You know. Everything is evident to me because I have a means of knowing. You know. Pramanata siddha everything. But you don't require any means to know I. I am self-existent, self-evident. So even by perception, by a scripture, by the senses, by inference, nothing. I am there before all of them. Actually, because I am there, therefore I can infer. I am trying to show you how the Gita Home study is progressing. I am, therefore I can see and hear. That I am self-evident, and because I am, all knowledge is possible. So Swata Siddha and Parata Siddha, we have already explained these two things. Swata Siddha, Pramanata Siddha. Swata Siddha is self-evident. Pramanata Siddha is Parata Siddha, by any means of knowledge. So why ayam is said? Because of this self-evident Atma, we are not talking of any shunya. We are not talking of something non-existent here. We are talking of something which is. What is? That we have to really understand what is. Whatever is anitya, time-bound, it cannot be sarvagata. What is nitya only can be sarvagata. So that is what you see, nitya sarvagata. So space is also not all pervasive. Space is with reference to the world only, no? Where the world is, the space is. Right? But the space does not pervade Atma. Atma pervades space, but space does not pervade Atma. Because Atma is consciousness, and in the consciousness there is no space. This is what I was trying to find out in the previous verse. It is given in this verse. Because this is a very important point. You should know why Atma and space, what is the difference? People are not able to understand. You say, okay, spaces also cannot be destroyed. Some children, some teenagers were asking, and Atmas also cannot be destroyed. Then what is the difference? Atma is sarvagata. How? because it is Nitya. That which is not Nitya, because space is not Nitya. So therefore it is not Sarvagata. Atma is Nitya, therefore it is Sarvagata. Understood? Not clear, Abhiti. Because Atma pervades. Atma pervades even space, but space does not pervade Atma. Like in sleep, I gave you the example.
Right.
Atma is consciousness, and in the consciousness there is no space. But then when there space is there, consciousness is also there.
Hmm.
But when consciousness is there, like in deep sleep, space is not there.
Hmm.
Okay? So this point people miss to understand. That is why space is not talked of as Rajiv was pointing out.
Yeah. So
Only
there's,
the four elements.
there's another difference. Space can undergo change. Einstein had shown that if you apply a very strong magnetic field, the space changes its shape. But Atma doesn't. So because Atma is Abhya, is changeless, it has no modifications, but space can be modified by applying high magnetic pull, especially say when it's close to a black hole or powerful planets. It does undergo a change. Einstein had proven it conclusively.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
space can undergo a modification, but Atma doesn't go under modification. It doesn't go any under because it's Abhya.
No, and even I think space is not time bound, because definitely with time there are changes in space. The Big Bang theory itself is an explanation that space
Space
changes.
is time bound. Space is not
That's
time
what-
bound. You cannot.
It is
Space
time
is
bound.
time bound.
Sorry, it is time bound. It
space is
changes
time.
with time.
You said
But
ulta.
Okay, I meant to say that it is not
Yeah.
changeless. It also changes with time.
Yes,
Not only with
space is
magnetic
time.
fields, even the general theory of space and the discovery of the black hole or universes or galaxies, they all have a beginning and an end. So there are changes, I'm sure, in space.
If you're talking about science, what about the Heisenberg this thing? Dark matter, what they have found. I mean, Sanatan Dharma said, Kali Jagat Janani. The space has come from dark matter. So there is a beginning.
That's what theories say. That's why we're saying that there are
Which
changes.
is what it says now. It
So
didn't say that
space
earlier.
is not like Atma. Atma
Yeah.
remains permanent, whereas space is not permanent.
But the knower is always there. Who knows that this happened?
True.
So Atma is Nitya, and therefore, because it is Nitya, it is Sarvagata. Nitya cannot be Sarvagata. This point must be noted. Space is put out Einstein's point also beautifully. Then it was Sthanu. Because it is Sarvagata, it is Sthanu. It is like a tree. It does not move. It is at the same place, fixed. So it is Sthanu, it is said in the sense of it does not move. So maybe, but it is moving like tree sways from the top, swaying in the wind. It is Sthanu, fixed in the earth, but it is swaying. No, it is Achalaha. It does not sway. So Nitya Sarvagata Sthanu Achaloyam Sanatanaha. So it does not even sway. It is Achala. And it always remains the same, Sanatana. It does not change in any way. It is Sanatana ever, same always. Any force or cause. So it is always fresh, we had seen earlier. So these words, then he further goes on to say, Atma has no attributes. Abhyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanu shochitum arasi. So, avyaktoyam. Vyakta is what? Which is manifest. Right? And that which is an object of perception, that which is manifest, it is an object of your perception, thought, your sense of organs, it is an object. And that which is not manifest cannot be an object of your sense organs like Atma. Atma is avyakta. It cannot be object of your sense organs. It is avyakta. And that is why Atma is referred here as avyakta. So, when it is not an object of perception, maybe it can be object of your inference, of your thought. That is what the next. That is why word is used achintya. Achintya. Achintya does not mean that Atma cannot be understood. Achintya means it is not an object of your inference of thought. That is the meaning here. You know, people will say achintya bula hai. Achintya means you cannot think of Atma. You cannot understand Atma. It is achintya, not understandable. अगर understandable नहीं होता तो why भगवान is saying वेदा विनाशिनं नित्यम या तस्मात् एवं विदित्वा एनम आत्मानम एवं विदित्वा. In this manner one has to know. Having known in this manner, there is no reason to grieve. You know, these words Swamiji used to emphasize a lot, because in the tradition people don't understand what is the tradition, and therefore the efficacy of the whole teaching methodology in terms of knowing, in terms of understanding, in terms of your beingness, which does not require anything. This is in terms of clarity of knowing yourself, that you don't have to do anything. It is already that. It is you. It is nothing is to be done. You are a manifest aspect of that same, but what is as though the whole thing, a changing thing. It is not that now, you know, whatever is changing, even though it is as though, but you are still in love with that, the changing thing. No, that changing thing is changing. You don't have to cry for it. What you are is the changeless being. That shift has to take place, something somewhere deep in you, which will give you, you know, freedom from this grief. Otherwise, there will be somewhere or the other you will grieve. That is why he says, because of knowing this Atma to be avyakta achintya, and then he says, ayam avyaktoyam. Ayam word is used again. Evident. This is which is self-evident. Avyaktoyam, achintyoyam, avikaryoyam. It is without any modification. There is no vikara. You cannot bring any vikara to it. It is not like milk, vikara, modification, which changes into curd. That is the example given. So this is the way the whole this teaching is brought about here. The dukkha. So these are, Atma does not have any attributes. Satchit, Ananda are not the attributes.
They are lakshana.
They are lakshanas. They are not visheshanas. You know, lakshya is implied meaning. Through the implied lakshanas, lakshate anena. That is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, Taittiriya Upanishad. These are in that portion of Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhagwan Bhashyakara goes on and on explaining that. Once you read that, a lot of understanding happens about what is Satyam, what is Jnanam, what is Anantam, why these three words are used. It is not like blue lotus, blue lily. Blue is a adjective, Visheshana, attribute. Sat Chit is not like that. Sat is isness. Consciousness is amness, the conscious principle. Sat is the substantive. If Sat will be the attribute, how will you say the substantive ka isness kahan chala jayega? Isness is the itself. It cannot be attribute. Is not an attribute. It is your existential reality of your beingness. It is not limited in time. It is not limited in space also. And this is what one has to understand. Sat is Chit, and because it cannot be other than consciousness, because isness is known. Your presence, you're conscious of it. You are it. You are the conscious principle. And therefore, Sat is Chit, Chit is Sat. I am. That isness and amness, both are same thing. Sat is Chit, Chit is Sat. And same way is Ananda. That Ananda is Ananta. Satyam Jnanam Ananta. Limitlessness. That limitlessness is in terms of there is your beingness. It is not limited by any time, space, and object. Anything like this book is limited in time. It is now. It may not be there tomorrow. It was not there some years back. This is limitation in time. Then this is here, it is not there in space. Then this is this, and this is not this. So this object limits this object limits this. So these temporal, spatial, and object-wise limitation is not there in Atma. And that is what is meaning of limitless. What do you call limitless? Ananta is this. That which is not limited in terms of time, that which is not limited in terms of space, that which is not limited by any other object. And when you really think what it can be, it is you. It is I. I not in terms of body, mind, sense complex. That isness, amness, when it is timeless, spaceless, objectless awareness, it cannot be other than you. It is you. It is your beingness, and beingness is not in terms of only body, mind, sense complex. Beingness in terms of even the manifest world, in terms of unmanifest world. That is the beingness. That is what is talked about. Avikaryo yamuchyate. Therefore, tasmat evam viditva. This is attributeless. This is avyakta, achintya, avikarya. And once you know what all has been explained, Bhagavan is really summarizing what he started. Ashochan and Vashochastam. That is why he uses the word na anushochitum arhasi. Same word anushochitum comes. Really speaking, from 11 to 25, he really sums up the whole thing here. This is the first summing up. Then next few verses again he takes up from the practical standpoint. He says, Arjuna, he looks into the eyes of Arjuna as if Arjuna is saying, oh, I am not talking about the Satyam, Satvastu, which is Atma, but Bhishma appearing as that Satvastu, that Bhishma, even though it is Anitya, I am talking of that awareness which is appearing as Bhishma. We will not be there. I cannot shake hands with him. I want to be shaking hands with him. I love him. I want him. I want that Atma in that form. And therefore, he goes on to show the practical aspect also from that, the next few verses. Till 30th, again he sums up. Dehi nityam avadhyoyam, dehe sarvasya bharata. That way. Dehi nityam avadhyoyam, dehe sarvasya bharata. Tasmat sarvani bhutani, natvam shochitum arhasi. Natvam shochitum arhasi. Again he sums up. This is the final summing up of this 30th verse, giving the practical standpoint also. And then he again takes up another topic from the standpoint of Swadharma. Swadharma papicha aveksha na vikampitum arhasi. No? From till 37th verse, till 36th verse, 37th verse. Then in the 38th verse, he gives the seed of Karma Yoga. And 39, he explains what I have explained till now, what I am going to explain further. Karma Yoga, Yoga Buddhi. I have explained to you Sankhya Buddhi till now. Now I am going to take up the Yoga Buddhi. And from that, he explains Yoga Buddhi from number 40 till 53. 54, Arjuna asks a question about the characteristics of a wise man, and then he takes up that. And therefore, the whole second chapter beautifully takes up Sankhya. Sankhya does not mean here Kapila Sankhya. Sankhya means, Khya means that which is told very well. Khya is to tell. Samkhya, which is told very samyak khyayate. Sankhya. There is no ambiguity about it. That is why 1 is 1, 2 is 2. That is why it is called Sankhya. Because there is no ambiguity. 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3. So clear. No ambiguity. So Samkhya is, which is very clear. And Sankhya is that understanding about the Atma which is clearly told, unfolded by the Upanishads. That is Sankhya. Only Atma can be unfolded. Anatma cannot be unfolded. It is ambiguity about explaining Anatma. What can be explained is you. And that is why it is explicable. It is inexplicable in terms of Sat and Asat. You cannot categorically say it is Sat or Asat. Neither it can be put in terms of Sat, nor it put in terms of Asat. That which you cannot categorically define, that is Mithya. And that is why Maya cannot be categorically defined. That is inexplicable. But not about the Sad Vastu that is you. Because it is you. It can be understood. It can be clearly seen. It clearly seen means it is you. Only thing is, it is something like this, I always used to think about the reflection of the sun in some vessels around which is having some water. So, as many vessels, that many reflections of the sun, isn't it? But that reflected sun is not the sun. But at the same time, I take that reflection to be the thing. So this Chidavasa, even though it cannot be without the sun. It is really the sun. Because can the reflection be without the Bimba, without the original? It cannot be there. So what is you? So actually you are both. You are the reflection also, you are the original also. But you are so much identified with this upadhi, the adjunct, the body, mind, sense complex, which you think because of which this reflection is. Upadhi, because of the upadhi, this reflection is. And you take yourself to be this. And the whole shift Upanishads is trying to bring about in seeing yourself, not this, not this, not this. So this I is what I am speaking is as though, the whole thing is as though. But Sarupa, because of which everything is going on, is me. So this is what this Sankhya Yoga is explained, and then Karma Yoga, Yoga Buddhi is explained. How to gain this Buddhi is shown by the Yoga Buddhi. You prepare your mind with that Yoga Buddhi, and then you gain this knowledge of the self, which is Sankhya. You can go further into this discussion, because now this portion, this whole second chapter is the summary, is the really the whole of Bhagavad Gita, which is further explained in terms of so many chapters. See? Yes, Rajiv, Sharda, Anu, Shobha, anybody? All, these are the only people we are here today. 5 of us. Anu? Anu is not there. Rajiv?
That's all, Swami. I'm just
I'm
very
here, Swamiji. I was on mute and it was taking me time to unmute myself. I'm right here. मैं यही हूँ.
I keep on saying this, you know. I understand now. But I thought you might have gone to the loo or something.
No, I'm right here.
Right.
So unmute.
So yeah, please come on, because this portion.
I wasn't
Yeah,
able to
it's
unmute
okay.
myself.
Shobha?
Yes,
Shobha,
Swamiji, I'm here.
yeah, so you want to say something?
Not really.
Acha, okay. Sharda?
You've covered everything beautifully, Swamiji. I don't want to add.
See, what I want to say in this, see, this whole methodology is very highly misunderstood, our tradition. Our tradition is to be understood properly. What is it all about? Why the Upanishad is said, why this study of Prasthanatraya becomes so important? Because it is something which is, we are talking about, it is you, it is already a paroksha vastu. It is not that so the sense of something will happen later or something you have to do about it, or so many paths are there, this way, that way, that way. It is not like that. The tradition is very clear. Lokesmin vividhanishta pura prokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankyanam karma yogena yogina. Dvivida nishtha, twofold committed lifestyles are there. Nishtha, dvivida nishtha, twofold. Dvivida, twofold nishtha. Gita is saying that. There is no third nishtha. Jnana yogena sankyanam karma yogena yogina. Jnana yogena sankyanam sannyasi nam. Sankhya is here sannyasi. The one who is giving up all the, action. Jnana is the sense of doership is given up completely. Karma yogena yogina, that yoginam is here, grihastinam karminam, householder's path. Karma yoga is the path of a householder. While doing action, the Gita is showing, the whole the tradition is showing how you can prepare yourself. That is Yoga Buddhi. And in the Yoga Buddhi, all the bhakti is there. Bhakti is in both margas. Yoga itself term, bhakti is there associated. But love, commitment, that is bhakti. Whether it's Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga. Without yoga, without the commitment, without this love for this understanding, both are not possible.
Right.
Bhakti is not the third path. It was later on in the Puranas, it was presented for the easy understanding of people, so they are not able to understand. But Swamiji used to say, the tradition is not talking like that. Because bhakti is very important. Bhakti is, see, he used to say, through the body, once you are doing certain things, it is action. Kayena, vacha, manasa.
Indriya.
Kayena, through the body, you do puja. Puja is kaikam karma. Vacha is vachikam karma. All the japa, all the sankirtana, all the bhajans. And manasikam karma is dhyana. So in all the three, kaikam karma, when you are doing puja, mind is also involved, vach is also involved. In vachikam karma, body is not involved, but mind is involved. In manasam karma, dhyanam, only mind is involved. But all three are in the category of karma only.
Right.
Dhyanam is also karma. Vachikam karma, japa, tapa, all that puja, all that japa, kirtan, that is also karma. तो कर्म योगा में भक्ति के बगैर तो योग हो ही नहीं सकता. Without ईश्वरा, without पुरुषार्थ निश्चय, without व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि. You know, my teacher used to say, you know, the whole tradition, everything is lost. The first two verses of Ishavasya Upanishad. First verse is Ishavasya midagam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tiktena bhunjitaha magrida kasya siddhanam. This is for sannyasi, Sankhya now. And for yogi is the next one. You know, I'm not remembering the first line of that. Ishavasya vidagam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat tena tiktena bhunjitaha magrida kasya siddhanam. Then the second verse, Ishavasya Upanishad, I'll just tell you. I'm not, suddenly it's not coming to my mind.
Kurvanaveha karmani.
Kurvanneveha karmani jiji vishet shatakam samaha. Kurvanneveha karmani jiji vishet shatakam samaha evam tvai nanyate tosti na karma lipyate nare. So there is an attitude way it is said. Kurvanneveha karmani. Karmani kurvanneva. Action has to be performed. And then you have to wish for living 100 years by performing actions. You know? Evam toi nanyate tosti na karma lipyate nare. There's an attitude, with this attitudinal living, if in the manner what is being taught by Ishvara Arpan Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi, which is taught in the Gita by this verse explaining the whole thing, then this karma will not come bind you, will not be able to bind you. So this whole thing, Gita way, is to be understood properly to understand what is really bhakti. You know, everything is all involved in karma yoga. कर्म योगा में भक्ति ध्यान भी है, पूजा भी है, कीर्तन भी है, जप भी है, सब कुछ तो है. वो कर्म ही तो है. ध्यान तो मानसिक कर्म है. जब आप सब कुछ छोड़ के बैठ जाओगे, वो भी तो मानसिक कर्म है ना. तो एवरीथिंग इज ध्यानम इज आल्सो मानसिकम कर्म, जप इज आल्सो वाचिकम कर्म, पूजा इज आल्सो कायिकम कर्म. All three are karmas. Why I'm bringing it out here? Because people don't understand the tradition of what is this Prasthantraya trying to say and what is this realization. When it is an aparoksha vastu, it is already you. Because of confusion only, we are trying to achieve something in some terms.
Yeah.
In the concepts what you have about this erroneous judgment, what you have about this understanding. That maybe this way, that way, this way, that way. Because those doubts somehow or the other make you to seek, and seeking does not come to an end. It will never come to an end. Because you don't feel okay as you are. And that's why all the teaching is make you see that nothing is required. And that is why so much of teaching is there. Vritti Jnanam is there. This Jnanam is in terms of Vritti Jnanam only, which will take away the Vritti of Ajnanam.
Okay.
But Jnanam Satyam, Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that Jnanam is not Vritti there. That Jnanam.
Mhm.
That is Swarupa Jnanam. That is talked of the consciousness that you are. But this consciousness is to be taken away by this vritti. Vritti is the whole teaching is a vritti only, in the form of a vakya.
Mm.
So I, what is this I, this person, this we don't really get to know, and this shift. Yeah.
Through the Vritti
Yeah.
Jnana only you will have a Sabrupa Jnana. No?
Because as Anu was telling last class, the reflected eyes, it's only the eyes are reflected, but really speaking, you still don't see the eyes. Because I cannot see the eye. There's no need to see the eye. You need not be objectified. You are that. It's a Paraksha Vastu. What is the need to see? See what? You have to understand this whole thing, how, and that is why Punah Panyana Shravanam Kurya. Clarity is the thing which will make you, which will take all your samshaya viparya away. Samshaya is doubtless knowledge. Viparya is viparita bhavana. That's through the samskaras what you are superimposing upon your knowledge, that this is me, this is me, this is me. Wrong identification is taken up. So, this whole teaching develops beautifully, and that is why once you go into the crux of this matter deeply, in understanding these verses in terms of tradition, in the way Shankara explains, in the way Shankara establishes, because even see the word I am, and how Nitya Sarvagata Sthanu Achala Sanatana is explained. It's all connected, but the tradition is explaining it, methodology is explaining it. I don't have that one. Avatyoyam, Achintyoyam, Avikaryoyam, Viditva. Why Viditva? Why Veda Vinashinam? Why Gita is emphasizing understanding? Why it is knowing? Because all confusion is in the mind. Whatever said and done. मीरा, भक्ति में मीरा ने क्या क्या, मुझे मोहे लगी गुरु चरण में, भवसागर सब सूख गया है, फिकर नहीं मुझे तरनन की. Ultimately, she said also that there is no bhavasagar at all. Ultimately, Buddhi has to see that truth. Anything you go through, ultimately you have to reach the same place. But growing through is fine. You say that this is me, this is the way I want to go through. Fine. But it is not that you have to understand that you are that, nothing is to be done. then only all the questions will dissolve. They will dissolve. They will
This
resolve.
is like a catch-22, Swamiji.
Ah,
The understanding will happen when the dissolution happens, and it will dissolve when the understanding happens.
so definitely, that is why pull up on in some eureka happens, you just drop it. At a
Yeah.
point of time, you just drop it because you know that now this is you. Actually, there's a clarity. This confusion really drops.
Which is why I always keep saying that meditation is very important. It is not enough
Meditation
to
is
only
what?
listen,
Meditation is what?
to sit with
Contemplation
yourself,
is what? Huh?
to sit with yourself
To sit
and
with
ruminate
yourself
on
is to
this, on the
focus,
understanding.
yes. That is why I was telling Rajiv that day, Yajnavalkya is asked by Maitreyi, his wife, when he was leaving. Then in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, he answers, Atma vare drashtavyaha. Atma must be seen. How? Shrotavyaha. Mantavyaha. Nididhyasitavyaha. It is not said there dhyatavyaha. Apatitavyaha, it is not said. Shrotavyaha. Listening. Shrotavya is to listen to the scriptures, to the teaching, with the objective to understand the purport of the whole Upanishads. Purport is making you see yourself. Atma vare drashtavya. Atma must be seen. An Upanishad is saying that, Yajnavalkya. Shrotavya. And then mantavya, nividhyasitavya. So these meditation and all is very important. This mananam, these are the levels, what you are speaking, Anu, this is the initial levels of meditation, and then contemplation, deep contemplation. Once you have really done.
Yeah, because
the
Swamiji, जितना भी
listening,
कहते रहे, this is something I've always maintained. जितना भी सुन के समझ में तब आता है जिस दिन एक दिन ध्यान में कोई एक आउट ऑफ बॉडी एक्सपीरियंस अगर किसी को हो गया, एक कुछ ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस हो गया कि उसको कंक्लूसिवली पता चल जाता है कि भैया बॉडी माइंड में नहीं हो, बिकॉज फिर ये किसने एक्सपीरियंस किया, फिर ये किसके साथ हुआ.
हाँ, वो
बॉडी माइंड
ये भी कहना, ऐसा भी शास्त्र कहते हैं कि ऐसा कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि ऐसा सबके साथ हो. कोई किसी में भी तरह से बैठ सकता है, क्योंकि एवरीथिंग इज नॉट द सेम वे.
Of course, I'm just saying that since Mark की जब बात हो रही थी, तो I know you and I always have this discussion. So it's not that bhakti is a mark, but सबकी अपनी energy अलग move करती है. And for some people, sitting and understanding से ज़्यादा interesting होता है to listening to or doing a ritual which helps them come more closer to themselves. And that's all right.
All the scriptures and the teaching is emphasizing, harping upon to deal with the mind in the manner what is required at that point of time. At that point of time.
Absolutely.
So it is not that becomes a path.
अपनी स्थिति बदलती रहती है, लोग भी बदलते रहते हैं.
So, but it is not, that is why it is said a teacher is required, because you have to keep discussing of your state of your mind, where you are coming from and what is required for you at this point of time, because he has seen and he knows what is what. You know, he can place the whole event in a particular way, manner, and that is what is more important. Because through your own mind, one can misinterpret a given situation and also not know what is right at a particular point of time and what should be done. And
दोनों तरह के issues हैं. अच्छा टीचर भी मिलना आसान नहीं होता है.
हाँ, तो अच्छा डॉक्टर भी मिलना आसान नहीं होता है. But when one is going through the disease, one has to find to solve the problem. Because if डॉक्टर के लिए अगर डॉक्टर नहीं है तो हर तरह के डॉक्टर्स हैं. But one has to find out to a specialist he goes for that kind of a disease. So whatever the disease is there, you find that kind of a doctor. So this भवसागर जो है, इसकी जो भव की जो disease है, उसके लिए कैसा गुरु चाहिए, That is why the whole teaching is there, that what is required. The whole Upanishad, the whole Prakarana Granthas, everything is analyzing where is the problem, nature of the problem, and what is the nature of the solution. Even in the Bhagavad Gita introduction, we discussed it thoroughly, that what is the nature of the problem and what is the nature of the solution. Once you know the nature of the problem, the nature of the solution is very evident. You cannot miss it. That is what it is. Chalo, okay, then this discussion to just like that, sideways, we are less, that is why we are discussing this today. So now you want to say something? You can.
No,
You're okay?
yeah.
Shobha? Shobha?
Yes, Swamiji.
So it's okay with you?
Yes,
If
yes,
shall
yes.
we close this, or how do we close this session today's? By chanting something, or how much time is there?
Chanting something. 5 minutes.
So next class, we have 7 minutes.
7 minutes, so we
still.
can chant.
What? Tell me what, Anu?
हनुमान चालीसा करते हैं ना आज
Tuesday. Tuesday.
चलो आप करो इस बार.
मुझे कंठस्थ नहीं है, मुझे किताब निकालनी पड़ेगी.
निकालो. आपने लास्ट टाइम शारदा और उसने किया था, अमूल्य ने, दोनों ने मिलके किया था.
हाँ राइट, निकालती हूँ. गिव मी अ सेकंड. शारदा का तो कंठस्थ है.
हाँ.
I have never been, as Swamiji knows, good with tradition. Okay.
किसने डाल दिया ना, आपने डाला, किसने? शारदा ने डाल दिया स्क्रीन पे.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार, बरनउँ रघुबर बिमल जसु, जो दायक फल चार. बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरौ पवन कुमार. बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेस विकार. जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर. शारदा, you can come in. राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा. महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी,
कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी. कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा. हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे, कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे. शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन.
विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज को आतुर. प्रभु चरित्र सुनीबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया. सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट
रूप धरि लंक जरावा.
भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के
काज संवारे.
लाए संजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए. रघुपति की पुत बढ़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई। I thought we were sharing. सहस बदन आवे हस कही
श्रीपति कंठ लगावे
सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद
नारद
शारद
शारद
सहित
सहित
अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल नहाते कभी
कवि
को
को विद
कही
कही
सके कहाँ दे तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना राम मिलाए राजपद दीना तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जोजन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेली मुख माही जलधि लांघि अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते
राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लगे तुम्हारी शरण तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपे तीनों लोक कांपते कांपे भूत पिशाच कांपे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासे रोग
सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा
संकट
ते हनुमान छाए
मन
वचन
जो लावे सब परिणाम राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो
लावे सोई अमित जीवन पल पावे चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुमरे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुवरपुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई
और देवता न धरनी हनुमत से सर्व दुख करनी संकट कट मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट सुख होई। शोभा यू कंटिन्यू।
जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जयनाथ हृदय महडेरा
की जयनाथ हृदय महडेरा।
पवनतनय
संकटहरण
मंगलमूर्तिरूप
राम
लखन सीता सहित
हृदय राम राम जय राजा राम राम जय सीता राम 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 जय राम 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 जय सीता राम जय सिया राम जय जय सिया 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 राम बोलो राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। अच्छा, बिफोर आई फॉरगेट, सैटरडे को भजन संध्या करनी है क्या? भजन
इसको मैं रिकॉर्डिंग स्टॉप कर लेती हूँ, रुको।
नहीं, फिर स्वामी जी को क्लोज करने दो।
No, पहले चैप्टर सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।
हरि ओम।
Yeah.